says, listen, you crazy lunatic 70-year-old man baby, stop it. You are now the president of the United States, the commander-in-chief, and you need to stop acting like a mean girl. This dude has got such a fixation with women and blood. What is wrong with him? And then you remember that this dude, this disgusting dude, is the president of the United States. And you realize just how much he is diminishing the presidency of the United States. You realize that what he is doing is not just acting for Donald Trump. He's acting for all of us. He's acting for our president. And he is embarrassing. He is shameful. He is disgusting.
One bombshell. And just like that, Navarro turned live TV into a courtroom, putting Trump's chaos on trial. Everything you're about to see comes from real broadcasts and public footage. And it all kicked off when Trump tried to rewrite reality with AI.
It wasn't just that he said Obama committed treason. It's more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He posted an AI video of
Obama
getting pushed to the ground and handcuffed in the Oval Office.
Yes.
And then a couple of days later, even after Obama issued that statement, Tulsi Gabbard went out to the press room in the White House. I think she was in a complete cover your ass mode, right?
A fake arrest in the Oval Office, AI handcuffs, FBI agents, and a former president thrown to the ground. It wasn't parody, it was posted by Trump himself, right as headlines about Epstein were closing in.
I think Barack Obama is somebody who, as most of the men so far who have held this position, have deep respect for the Oval Office and for the office of the presidency, and enough is enough. Yeah, basta. So, so I think Obama made the extraordinary took the extraordinary step of issuing an official statement.
Obama almost never speaks out, but this time he did. A formal statement breaking his silence just to say enough. And Navarro backed him, reminding viewers this was about more than politics.
And so I think it's just such nonsense, but you also don't know who believes the stupid stuff Trump says or posts.
Stick around, the next part isn't fake. It's policy.
But there's so many horrible things going on in the United States right now that I felt I didn't just feel privileged. I didn't just feel blessed. I felt guilty. I felt guilty that at a time when my community, in particular, Latinos and immigrants, are being hunted down. And I know I talk about this every week, but I have to because I can't let this go.
For Navarro, guilt wasn't abstract. It was watching raids unfold in parks where children play, while entire communities felt hunted in their own neighborhoods.
I don't think it's the country. I don't. But I think there are people in charge right now that are part of this government who are racist and who would like to get rid of brown people and are doing everything they can to do so by canceling temporary protective status, by having this reign of terror where they're using military style raids in parks where children are playing, and by sending immigrants, some of them legal permanent residents, to places like Alligator Alcatraz and making, haha, isn't that a cutesy name?
She's not blaming the country. She's blaming the hands on the wheel, the ones steering policy toward fear and away from decency.
So I think that there is a very purposeful plan to scare Latinos and immigrants out of this country. And I don't see it happening with white immigrants. There's a hell of a lot of overstays in this country from Eastern Europe and from Canada and from places where people are white and have blue eyes. And then I said to myself, I am not going to let Donald Trump steal my love of country, my patriotism, my love of patriotic songs and grilling and all of that. I just refuse to let him steal that.
In her view, this was not random enforcement, but a deliberate plan, one applied unevenly, depending on who the immigrants were. Even so, Navarro stressed that patriotism belongs to citizens, not to one administration.
I can't get past the fact that we have a president who lacks the sufficient character. We have a president who is mean. We have a president who is nasty. We have a president who is immature, unstable, and just acts like a crazy person with anybody who attacks him because he's got thin skin and he is never going to pivot.
So now she connected those policies back to leadership, questioning the character behind them.
Nobody who stood up on January 6th and January 7th and condemned what happened there, which was an act of treason. It was an insurrection. I don't care what you're going to call it. I don't care how you want to whitewash it. Nobody who stood up and condemned that and is today silent after those pardons should be able to look at themselves in the mirror because you have no morals.
And for Navarro, silence after January 6th and the pardons that followed underscored the same problem. When accountability is missing, fear fills the gap. And if you're still with us, don't blink. Hit subscribe, because what they did to Colbert isn't the end, it's the blueprint.
So I don't think you can look at the Colbert decision in a vacuum when all these other things have happened. And I don't think you can take the Colbert decision as not being political when immediately after, Trump jumped on the train and started celebrating and taking credit for Colbert getting off the air.
The cancellation of Colbert's show didn't happen in isolation. Within hours, Trump was already celebrating, even taking credit for it.
Stephen Colbert is an extraordinarily good interviewer.
He is.
He's also just good people. You know, he's incredibly charitable. His own story, I think, has shaped him tremendously.
Really inspiring.
I mean, he's really a wonderful human being, and he's funny.
Very funny.
And he's very successful. His ratings are very good.
Navarro reminded viewers, Colbert wasn't struggling. He had strong ratings, influence, and the reputation of being one of Trump's sharpest critics on television.
This is, another example of CBS kowtowing to Trump. It's like the, cowardly broadcasting system is what they should be called at this point, because we saw so Trump sued them over 60 Minutes. It was the most frivolous suit. It was because he didn't like the way they edited a Kamala Harris interview.
CBS had already faced lawsuits from Trump, including over a 60 Minutes edit he didn't like. Navarro suggested the network's latest move looked less like strategy and more like submission.
Saw Bill Owens, the producer, leave. And now comes the cancellation of Colbert.
So there's two trains of thought here, two schools of thought. The idea is that late night has changed financially, and the idea is that this show on CBS was as anti-Trump as any show on television, and that perhaps there was a quid pro quo.
Behind the scenes, longtime producers had left, payouts had been made, and speculation grew. Was this about ratings, or was it politics?
It comes in the same week that we just saw a letter released that the head of Skydance was buying CBS sent to the FCC, to Trump's chair of the Federal Communications Commission, saying, that they're going to get rid of DEI and that they're going to hire somebody to make sure that there's no bias, and just basically, sucking up to the guy and these crazy initiatives. Remember that Skydance, the CEO of that, is a ally of Trump, the Ellison family, Larry Ellison and his son David. So I think to me the writing is on the wall, and if you don't see it as if you don't think politics and kowtowing to Trump had something to do with it, I'd like to smoke what you're smoking.
The timing only fueled suspicion. CBS was preparing a merger with Skydance, led by Trump allies. Documents promised to cut diversity programs and align with the administration's priorities.
It's not just a cancellation of Colbert. I guess that's my point to you.
Yes.
It comes, after the $60 million payout. It comes after Bill Owens, the producer of 60 Minutes, left because corporate was telling him what to put on the air and how.
But when one voice got silenced, the rest got louder. And just like that, the late night Avengers assembled.
I feel like this Colbert decision is going to backfire, because it's like now late night is unleashed, right? And it was really nice to see so many of his late night colleagues sitting there giving him support the Monday after the cancellation was announced. So Andy Cohen was there, Anderson Cooper was there, Jon Stewart was there,
John Oliver, Jimmy Fallon.
I now think that, you know, it was almost, I read on a post, somebody said it's like almost like the Avengers.
Yeah, the Avengers of late night coming together.
From Andy Cohen to Jon Stewart, from Oliver to Fallon, the support turned into a lineup. What looked like a loss became a rallying point. Navarro called it the Avengers of late night. And in this crossover, the punchlines weren't scripted, they were aimed squarely at Trump.
Whenever you see Trump picking a fight the way he's doing with CNN, MSNBC.
CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick.
My God, they're even berating Jennifer Griffin from Fox News. Yeah. Whenever he's picking a fight with AOC, as he was doing from Air Force One, he's trying to distract. So he's trying to pick that fight so that we talk about him trying to squash the free press, asking legitimate questions, because we have been here before where presidents have exaggerated and lied. May I remind you, weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. He's picking a fight to distract us from what these intelligence reports are saying and from what is a legitimate debate and question.
For Navarro, the pattern was clear. Silencing critics, fighting with reporters, turning every headline into a distraction. Late-night comedians saw it too, and instead of backing down, they doubled their volume.
I think Trump won. There were a lot of slights against him that in Trump 2, he came back to take revenge on. He told us during the campaign, it's about retribution. He said, I'm going to be the retribution. And I think he has done that with all sorts of organizations and people that have slighted him, right? Whether it's universities, Columbia University. That is one of the most ridiculous things, that a university would cower that way and pay that kind of settlement, supposedly because of anti-Semitism.
Navarro described Trump's second run as something different, not a new agenda, but a return for revenge.
I think what they didn't want to do is go the way of Harvard and have to have billions of dollars in grant money taken from them. The cancellation of student visas for foreign students, which bring in a lot of money for universities. They didn't want to fight it out in court, and then gone and banned certain acts like drag shows from there, and it's just wreaked havoc. So I think in so
this
many
is writing perceived slights.
I think it is.
She pointed to universities as an example. Columbia paid settlements rather than risk losing federal support, a decision Navarro saw as caving to pressure. Other schools, like Harvard, faced the same threat. Funding and student visas turned into leverage points.
No matter how insane, stupid, harebrained, and lawless I think something he says might be, I have learned the lesson of taking him seriously.
Yes.
But what was interesting is this was a hot topic for all of us, and none of us picked it this morning because we're all on to him. He is the distractor in chief.
Yep.
And so he doesn't want us to keep talking about Signalgate, which is a real threat to national security. And every day more details are revealed that show us how incompetent and reckless his national security team is. He doesn't want us to talk about the way he is tanking the stock market with his imbecilic tariffs.
For Navarro, it wasn't limited to education. Cultural spaces faced restrictions too, with bans on performances folded into the broader push.
House Republicans have a new proposal, and it's to rename the Kennedy Center Opera House to the First Lady Melania Trump Opera House. I think I can imagine, but what do you think of this?
Because ruining Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden wasn't enough.
The Kennedy Center, a landmark built as a tribute after JFK's assassination, suddenly in the middle of a rebranding debate, with Melania Trump's name at the center of it.
Has anybody ever seen Melania Trump show any interest in opera? Because, I mean, the Kennedys were known for, during Camelot, the arts culture was such an important part of their brief stay at the White House, right? Now we're going to desecrate the Kennedy Center, named after John F. Kennedy as a tribute to him after his assassination. We're going to desecrate that by naming it also after Trump, as if the fact that he has named himself the chairman of the board, gotten rid of all the professionals who were running that. The amount of money they're raising has decreased dramatically. All sorts of artists are canceling their appearances there. I mean, has anybody ever seen Melania Trump show any interest in opera? Because, I mean, the Kennedys were known.
Under Trump's leadership as chairman, the center had already seen fundraising drop and artists back out. Navarro warned that a renaming would only deepen the damage.
Remember, in Trump 1, a lot of artists refused to be seen anywhere near him. And so he took the decision of not hosting the pre-Kennedy Center honors reception at the White House and not attending them. In Trump 2, not only is he attending them, but he is, not only is he attending the Kennedy Center, but he is chairing it. And he has put, Rick Grinnell, one of his top minions, in charge of running it.
Anna argued the proposal was part of a broader pattern, using cultural battles to draw attention away from other controversies in security and the economy.
Stop! Look, if you can't control your tweeting habits, then stop tweeting. Go seek therapy. Go knit. Find a hobby. Talk to your wife. Do anger management. You've got to realize once and for all, you are no longer just Donald Trump. You are speaking for an entire country. And our people do not deserve to be embarrassed and be represented by somebody who is so unfit for the job. So you've got to start pivoting. You've got to start acting presidential. You should have started.
Anna's words weren't just criticism. They were a reminder of the weight of the office. What began with fear, power plays, and late-night satire all came down to this: the question of character and whether the presidency could rise above personal impulse. From AI videos to immigrant raids, from silencing Colbert to renaming the Kennedy Center, Anna Navarro's message stayed the same. The presidency is bigger than one man. Her plea was simple: act like a leader, not a distraction. Because in the end, this wasn't just about Trump losing his temper on TV. It was about a nation and whether its highest office could rise above chaos. This video features commentary based on publicly aired segments from Anna Navarro and verified media coverage of Donald Trump. All references are drawn from public sources. No private or speculative information is presented. The content adheres to YouTube's community guidelines and fair use policy, intended for public commentary, media critique, and political analysis. If this helped provide clarity or perspective, feel free to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.